Welcome back, everyone, to Victoria 2. It's a mod. It's the Greater Flavor mod that I'm bringing to you today, in case you're incapable of reading. So, what is this mod? As you may or may not surmise from the name Greater Flavor mod and sort of acronym GFM, it is yet another one of those... Ooh, damn. You do be chorusing. This is yet another one of those HFM, historical flavor mod, sort of expansions, I suppose. That HFM is just a mod that keeps on giving in terms of the, what people just take it to the next level or whatever. And this is very much along the veins of some of the other mods that we've seen. Such as the historical bloat mod, the Anon mod, or whatever the fuck you wanted to call it. And except this one takes a bit of a interesting approach. Now, I've been kindly provided with a sort of document with all the things. Now, I've played a sort of half game with the mod. Most of it is basically the same as HFM, just with more stuff added to more countries. Primarily countries that normally you wouldn't really see being expanded that much. The new update that has just been released is about Iran, which is now called the Kurdish Empire at the beginning, and also Afghanistan. So massive rework of this area. As you can see, it's really been overhauled very, very sort of extensively on the map side of things. Also, you'll see in the cultures. And also the Ottomans got a lot of content, which is, I love a good old Ottoman. That's pretty great. Now, other than this, there's also a lot of stuff for the USA and Mexico, and also quite a bit of stuff for South America, which is quite interesting. So basically, the New World and the Middle East in general, Greater Middle East region, is the focus so far of the mod, although there is a bit of stuff for other countries such as Austria. They've added in some Poland things, much along the veins of what was that other fucking mod? I forget the name of that mod that releases Congress Poland at the start. Sorry for my bad memory, but yeah, it's kind of along the lines of that, where you can play as Poland and you get a bunch of content if you play as Poland and somehow manage to navigate everything. Yeah, let's jump straight into it. Now, as I said, the mod developer, the lead dev, was very, very kind to provide me with a sort of changelog document that sort of details most of the things that they've added. Now, taking a look at they've done the great thing of having the interface disappear, or having the sort of interface background be replaced with just the map that you have pulled up later. This is really, really good. Now, the mod doesn't change any goods, but there is a submod that the sort of original developer guy created, but I've been told that it's not advised to play with it because it's not done. And of course, if you break goods in Victoria 2, you break the game very, very hard. So yeah, this is not something that you want to play with. But there has been a little bit of changing arounds of where certain goods are produced, a little bit of rebalancing of things, I've been told, but I'm sure we might get to see a little bit of that later. I do love how there's a lot of wheat in France and in Northern Europe. Quite a bit more fruit and stuff down here in Italy. I wonder if China RGOs have been fixed from HFM. It's still a little bit too much tea for my tastes, but as far as I know, they haven't really changed China at all, which is super sado. There's been a little bit of reworking of Japan, but I'm mostly going to ignore East Asia because other mods do quite a bit of that, and in general, I talk about that region quite a lot. So let's leave it at that for now. Anyway, basically this update, as I said, is mostly about the Iran, but let's first take a look at the sort of options stuff. You have your, very usual stuff like disabling the San Marinos and Liechtensteins and Monacos. So fuck those guys. You can disable the anarcho-liberals as per usual with these HFM mods. Unlocking Crisis in 1870 or unlocking Crisis right at the start, I believe. Hold on. Yeah, unlock Crisis from the start or unlock Crisis in 1870. Yeah, perhaps like 1870 would be the one that I look at. You can annex everything. I don't care. Just for trolling purposes, I suppose. Disabling colonial railroading. Now, I believe this mod actually, yeah, this mod has some pretty, like, nasty colonial railroading or whatever, so, like, it's not like those mods where you can have, like, the Serbian Congo or whatever. It's always going to be the Belgian Congo, and, like, Germany is going to get events to take over Tanzania or whatever. I don't know. I have not played that far in the game, but I have noticed that they have removed almost all the Boer republics except for Zoutpansberg over here. I have no idea exactly what the fuck is up with the removal of the Boers. There's only a tiny amount of Afrikaners all over the place, of course, as you'd expect. But yeah, I suppose there's going to be events for the formation of Transvaal or whatever. So I guess if you want to play the Boers, you're going to play as Zoutpansberg. Or fucking something. I don't know. I've not tried to play as the Boers ever in Victoria 2, so fuck those guys. And they've added quite a lot of like Lake Victoria, Central Congo tags and stuff like that. So that's always nice to see. Your Lubas, your Lundas. But yeah, and also there's some content for the West African region. Like if you manage to form like the two-color empire or whatever, you can do some stuff. But yeah, the colonial game is going to be, quote-unquote, railroaded, and you can disable that if you want. I don't know. Maybe that breaks something. I have no idea. And you can just disable all the workplace event, like the explosion of everything. Now, the mod does reduce the, whatchamacallit, the sort of mean time to happen, which is like the frequency of these events. But what they've done actually, which is something pretty interesting, is they have removed them for AI countries, which is supposed to increase performance. Now personally, when I've played it, it wasn't really like the performance wasn't that different from normal HFM, so I don't know. Some people say it runs faster, but I don't think so. I don't know. Now there's also bankruptcy events that you can remove, which is kind of interesting because I think they've done something to the AI into sort of the financial mechanics, maybe in general, question mark, because in the game that I've played, I've seen the USA, wait, Republic of New Africa, POG, okay, I've seen the USA go bankrupt. That's something that I've never seen, ever seen in Victoria 2, ever. So I don't know. I guess that's something that they've done. I don't know. Maybe they have managed to make the AI more, like, a lot more aggressive. I don't fucking know. They've also reworked the map quite a lot. As you can see, there's like a lot of provinces everywhere that normally you wouldn't see. Of course, Germany is always a mess. But for example, there's Brussels. There's a little more stuff in France, quite a lot more stuff in France actually. There's just a lot more provinces everywhere. I'm not sure if the states are different. There appears to be a few more in the Ottoman. I don't know actually. It doesn't look like there's more. Yeah, I do not know. I'm not sure, but there's definitely a lot more in this sort of region, the sort of greater Iran, Afghanistan stuff, because that's where they have just done the whole reworking. So there's also a lot more provinces around here. You're gonna see the map is a lot more detailed and stuff. Of course, this probably means that the RGOs are different, but since I didn't know the map that well in this region before, I can't really say. And there's also a lot more of these Kurdish puppets released on the map at the start. No fucking cringe Tusa, like vassals of China, but I don't know, maybe at some point they're gonna get released. All the Tibetan vassals and all that. Yeah, taking a look at the other little options. Remove starting party loyalty, which I suppose is mostly affecting a few European countries. Yeah, like the UK. Really now, nothing in Spain. I believe there was like conservative loyalty in Spain or whatever, but yeah, you know. And of course, a little bit of the good old United States of America. Mobilization bug fix. Yeah, just a few bug fixes. Trade policy for some reason. And there's a little more infamy reduction, which is actually connected to another one of the sub-mods that there are for this mod that you can optionally play as, which is the Shattered World, which basically releases all the releasable countries, which actually includes quite a lot in Europe. There's a lot of releasables in Europe. For example, there's Wales and Scotland and Ireland. It's one of those mods. There's also a lot of French regional tags like Occitania, you know, the Arpitans, also, you know, Alsace and Lorraine, and I believe there's also like a Burgundy and like I don't know, a Normandy, yeah, Brittany and all that. Maybe there's a bit of stuff in Spain. Don't remember. Maybe there's like tags that appear if bad things happen. Of course, a lot of Italian tags, a lot of Austrian stuff. You know, your good old Transylvania stuff, Lombardo Veneto tag, tons of Russian stuff. Unfortunately, there aren't like the single Cossack hordes like in the historical bloat mod, but there is the Cossack Hetmanate, which is, I suppose, quite nice. And there's also Kalmykia, which is very nice. Good old Ukraine, good old Crimea. You know, no Polish Tatars, unfortunately, I don't think. Yeah, of course, there's always a lot of bullshit stuff in the Baltic. We're gonna get to that region a bit later, I am sure. And at the beginning, there's also this Anatolia tag in the Ottomans, which is basically like the Anatolian Greek tag, which gets removed if Greece decides to go Megali. And I believe there's also, well, there's also a lot of tags that you can form, but we're gonna get to that later down the line. Yeah, and then you get to the normal things. And also a lot of countries. I'm not sure if every country or if only European countries, but a lot of countries have this like renovate the capital decision, which gives you, you know, just a few years of pop growth in your capital, which is, I guess, nice. Why not? Yeah, there's also a few more sort of generic decisions. Anyway, yeah, as the oh, and there's also supposed to be like the fantasy tags. Where's the fantasy tags? Did they just like enable them by default or something? And there's also, of course, all the HFM decisions like Directive Number 1, you know, the genocide, the trade policy stuff, the colonial army, and return cores, release vassals. Now, there's also another option that they've added. Now, in HFM, you can just like give your cores to your vassals. You can release your vassals from being vassals and all that. But you can also, in this mod, annex. Okay, this is gonna be weird. Like, if I have a country in my sphere, or if I have two countries in my sphere, or if I have a country in my sphere that has my cores, or if I have a country in my sphere and another country that has cores on another country, if this makes any sense, you can annex the third-party country that has the cores belonging to either you or your other sphereling. Does this make any sense? Let's like get an example. Like, if I am the United Kingdom and someone dismantles me and Scotland is released, right? I still have my cores on Scotland, so if I sphere Scotland, I can then re-annex Scotland peacefully. Or alternatively, if, I don't know, the USA takes... Nah, this is dumb. That's a dumb thing. Like, I don't know. If one of the South American countries takes a piece out of the other South American country, and then I'm the USA and I sphere both of them, I can diplomatically take a decision and give the, you know, Venezuelans back their fucking Amazon territory that's gotten taken over by the Colombians. That's that. It's a nice quality of life. There's also a bit of the usual like multiplayer quality of life stuff, like the grants. This is a supposedly multiplayer-friendly mod. So there's the grants decision. There's the general tagging. Yeah, the general sort of color coding for the attack and defense. And also there's the multiplayer like war goals. Of course, right now I can't see them, but like, you know, the transfers and all that. Yeah, I believe you need to take you need to click one of these decisions. I forget which one. I think I'm done with the decisions. There's also the craftsman bug exploit fix, and, you know, a few of the political decisions. But yeah, this appears to be mostly over. Yes. Okay, let's go to the Persia region. Check out just some of the changes. I believe it's PER. Yes. There we go. Now, with Persia and Afghanistan and the Caucasus and the sort of Eastern Ottoman Empire, a lot of what has been done is basically adding event chains that sort of recreate the historical events of what was going on in this region in the early, you know, 1800s, which is just a bunch of shit, essentially. This is the moment in time in which basically the British and the Russians were sort of crashing into each other in this region, right? Which is called the Great Game, which went on all the way to basically World War I. And it basically, crashed all the old empires that were in this region, which were primarily at this point the Qajars of Iran, sort of the last big Iranian empire, and the older sort of Durrani Empire of Afghanistan. So as you can see at the beginning of the game, they added a lot of tags that are supposed to represent all the vassal states that these still feudal countries have. So of course all the Kurdish puppets of all these countries, and, you know, all the sort of outer vassals. There's also, of course, the little like Omani colony in northern or southern Iran and Hormuz, and a few British bullshit places. And of course, you've got Afghanistan with your cores on sort of some of the Sikh territories because they're Pashtun culture, and of course they're doing a bunch of stuff, you know, interacting with the Central Asian countries. You've got your Kunduz. You've got your Kandahar vassal. You've got your Herat, which is part of modern-day Afghanistan, but it's actually a vassal of Persia. So basically, a lot of the events are having to deal with how the first East India Company and then British Raj, so the British Empire, and the Russians are coming down south and north and trying to sort of subjugate Afghanistan to get an upper hand on the others' holdings in Central Asia and India. And also, I'm not sure if they've added Iran, the sort of Russo-Persian wars, but there were quite a lot of Russo-Persian wars over the Caucasus because this was at a time in which the Iranians are still considering sort of the Caucasus region to be part of their sphere, although the Russians had come in and just taken it over. Yeah. I'm not sure if they've added that, but it would be interesting if they did. But yeah, there's basically a lot of events for the Anglo-Afghani Wars, which is when the East India Empire, the East India Company was coming in and trying to subjugate Afghanistan to its sort of growing Indian Empire, which is part of the reason why the East India Company fell apart, because historically that did not go down very well for them, did it? And yeah, they got their asses kicked. Basically, they got to Kabul, they installed a puppet, which is what happens. Now, in normal Victoria 2, the Anglo-Afghan Wars, just the East India Company comes in, kills Afghanistan, like takes the land that they historically take, and then they leave them alone for the rest of the game. But in here, there's a bit more of a complex plot that develops. Cough. I actually forgot to disable my microphone, I'm sorry. And yeah, basically, after all that happens, the Iranians get involved, and then the British get involved with Iran, and then basically, depending on how you navigate this whole web of events, you might get yourself completely annihilated by the British, or you might, you know, form your greater map or whatever if you're either Afghanistan or Persia. Which, if you're Persia, it includes probably quite a lot of modern-day Afghanistan, because if you look at this, you've got a lot of cores on sort of modern-day Turkmenistan and Afghanistan with Herat, but also because if you're Persia, you've got quite a lot of, surprisingly, quite a lot of Persian pops in the northern Afghanistan area. Like if you take a look at here, there's some Persians here, there's some Persians here. There's a lot of Persians in Bamyan, quite a few Persians up here, lots of Persians in Kabul. And that stops, of course, when you're looking at Jalalabad, and it goes all the way to Ghazni. But then there's a mountain, there's an impassable mountain which they've added, and Zob does not have Persians. Yeah, basically, if you're Persia and you westernize and you become really, really powerful, you can probably gobble up quite a lot of this stuff rather easily, and become really epic. And in the end, I guess, dismantle Britain and take over all of India and make a big old Persian empire. So, yeah, probably really fun to play as Persia. There's also quite a few decisions to just integrate your little pieces of shit and try to reclaim all of Hormuz, which I suppose also would include, like, Bahrain or whatever, because there's quite a bit of, like, Persian, like, historical weirdness where they want to claim some of the northern Arabian region. I don't know if that's the case. And yeah, that's the Persia and Afghanistan rework in a nutshell. Yeah. Let me see if I've missed anything. Let me see if I missed anything big, I suppose. And of course, if you're Afghanistan, you can like invade the Sikh Empire, of course, because you've got that core over there. But I'm not sure if you can do like a big old like conquest of northern India or whatever, like a Durrani 2.0 or something. Yeah, no idea, to be honest. And of course, Russia can do Russia stuff, like invade all the way down, I'm not sure if you can invade all of Persia, though. Northern Afghan border. They can push south into Panjshir. Where is Panjshir? Panjshir. Oh, like down here. Okay. So like doing Turkmen annexations. Hazara uprising in Afghanistan. Damn. Iranian substates. Puppeted by Iran. Durand Line events, which was the border between Afghanistan and British India, which is still the border between like Afghanistan and Pakistan. So yeah, those Durand Line events, sort of to get the historical border at the end of the game if everything goes normal. Kurdish Vassals. Of course, everyone knows that. Pop overhaul in Caucasus, Anatolia, Afghanistan, and Central Asia. Of course, Anatolia as well. Really? Was there a need for pop? There's like Greeks everywhere. There's even some Trebizond mementos. Yeah, there's even a Pontus, which I suppose is like the Greek. It's like a Greek kingdom. There's Cilicia, right? The good old Cilicia, Cilician Greeks. Is there Cyprus? Yes, there is Cyprus. Of course, as you'd expect. 7 new province pictures in Iran and Afghanistan. Oh, really now? Province pictures. Really? You could have found a better Tehran picture, I'm guessing. The breeze. I wonder if Baghdad has a picture. It does. Epic. Herat. Or Kabul, I'm guessing. Yep. Wonder if Wakhan has a... Yeah, there we go. Or Himalayan mountains. No, that's just Himalayan mountains. Okay. I mean, this is just what you expect. Bukhara. No Bukhara. Kokand. No Kokand. Unfortunate. How dare you not have Kokand. Karachi. Yes. So yeah, the entire region just gets more flavor, as you'd expect. Yeah. General changelog is where you go down to stuff that hasn't been added right now. Now, you might be hearing music that you don't have in normal Victoria 2. That's because it's got a music mod, and I'm using it. It's good. It's what you'd expect. Good old, bunch of good old classical music from the period / some of the music for individual countries. Yes, there is like some country-specific music. Some of it is kind of weird, although something that I immensely appreciate. I'm gonna need to have this track be over. Is that there's the Marseillaise, although I'm not sure if it's entirely was the Orleanist Kingdom of France using the Marseillaise? I don't think it was. I don't think they were. I don't think it had the Marseillaise, although it did, of course, have the tricolor. And yeah, at the beginning, you're trolling Algeria, of course. There's a bit more flavor to the North Africa stuff, if only because they consider it part of the greater sort of Ottoman content, because the Ottomans can come in and take them over. Anyway. Yeah, they've done some interesting stuff to EUI, for example. Let me see if I can... find any decent examples at the beginning. Like, for example, the cultures list. They have, like, extended how the cultures list works by adding another line, so that if a country has, like, a shitload of accepted cultures, like, for example, Russia over here, they go down and, you know, you can have a lot of accepted cultures, and, you know, it doesn't, like, destroy the way the UI works, which is pretty incredibly great, to be honest. I used to hate in the regular Victoria 2 when you know, you got a lot of accepted cultures and you had no fucking idea what was going on. It's a great quality of life change. They've also sort of reworked how some of the you're lagging. How some of the other UI pieces work, for example, where you have modifiers stacking up on each other so that it's more readable. Yeah, that's some nice quality of life stuff. Yeah, MP decisions. Disunited Kingdom decisions for the UK to play as Australia, the Cape Colony, or Canada, which I suppose is what happens if you, like, get defeated as the United Kingdom and they release, like, Wales. If you get, like, probably dismantled and they release Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and England. Or maybe if, I don't know, if you get broken by, like, Scottish nationalists or English nationalists somehow, if you get broken by rebels too many times and, like, there's an event for the United Kingdom to fall apart, you can, like, have the United Kingdom in exile in Canada or whatever. Yeah, trait visualization, we've already seen that one. Extended the battle casualties so casualties in the millions are displayed. That's quite nice. That is quite nice. Let me see. Yeah, there's the transfer Casus Belli, but there's also, like, other Nice. Casus Belli's like the stealing puppets, which is also present in quite a lot of the... And there we go. Is it actually too loud? No, it shouldn't be. In fact, it might even be too quiet. The Marseillais is always too quiet. Yeah, there's the Liberate and Puppet Country. There's the Take Puppet. There's Take Capital, which I suppose you can do as France to the UK because it's technically right next to you, right? Yeah, you've got one sea zone or whatever. So it's technically bordering Le Mans. You can take London as France. Pog. Hilarious. Absolutely fantastic. And speaking of this, one of the like great works or whatever events or decisions is the... I don't think you can see it at the beginning. Yeah. You cannot see it at the beginning. Unfortunately. Yeah, but one of the canal decisions, I suppose, even though it's not a canal, is the Channel Tunnel, which perhaps a bit of science fiction to build it in the 1900s or in the 1800s, but it supposedly was actually proposed. So, hey, and they were doing like big old tunnels, for example, in Switzerland. So I don't know, maybe the engineering was there. It was just yeah. So yeah, there is that decision. Also, they've added the White Sea Canal to go from here to here, and the Croix Canal, which is here. If you... Oh, I suppose Chum Fun over here. If you sphere the Siamese, you can do a thing where you can, yeah, build a canal here. And of course, you got your Suez and your Panamas. I wonder if anyone's ever going to add the Nicaragua Canal, which is... I believe supposed to be like maybe here. Yeah, there's also like a Chinese company that was supposedly trying to build it today. Yeah, the fucking Nicaragua Canal is a mess and a half. Anyway, they have also added a pretty hilarious thing, which are submarines. World of Warships moment. Yeah, they've added submarines to late game. A lot. So this is something that I think if you play this mod in multiplayer, it's gonna be like so powerful. Like it's gonna be the new meta or whatever, because like what makes, I believe, I'm not sure, what makes the cruisers like the super meta is the 30% evasion chance. So basically this means that in the late game naval combat, if you have dreadnoughts or battleships, they're going to be getting hit with every dice roll. So they're going to take damage with every dice roll. And since you can build more cruisers that have a 30% evasion chance, if you just build full cruisers, they're always going to beat fleets that have dreadnoughts and battleships, because the dreadnoughts and battleships are always going to get hit. I believe, not sure. Also, there's torpedo attacks. But the submarines have everything that the cruisers have, except better, because they've got more torpedo attack and more evasion, although they're very, very slow, which is, I guess, their downside. So yeah, and then they're probably really expensive. And they've also added another land unit, which is the Stormtrooper. So obviously that's supposed to be like, I don't know, the thing that's supposed to, I don't know, break the late game stalemate thing. Not sure if that's actually possible. And do they actually get? No, they appear to not take or get. No, they do get some. They do get some of the invention bonuses. National Socialism. They appear to get some of the bonuses, but they appear to have forgotten to add the bonuses, the sort of unit bonuses from the invention upgrades to all of the inventions. So the Stormtroopers, they need a bit of bug fixing before, I don't know, they're fully implemented, I suppose, because Maybe this is intentional to not make them super overpowered or whatever, but no. Generally, the reason why people just build infantry is that when it comes to late game, you've got a lot of units to supply, and you can get yourself, like, you can crash the world market, you can destroy you can outpace your industry because of all the mobilized units. You can outpace the amount that your industry can supply rather easily. And the guards, even though they're better than the infantry, if you're playing multiplayer, it's going to be really, really hard to supply them because they require more goods. I'm guessing that the Stormtroopers might have a similar sort of a problem about them, but I don't know. I do not know. They've added it, and that's all I care about currently. New HD textures for the thing. Whatchamacallit? The map. So you can stare at the northern French countryside in all its beauty. Which is, I suppose, quite nice. It does actually look better, especially in regions such as the Balkans and the Ottomans or whatever. The base game didn't look particularly great. Yeah, the Egypt looks quite a bit better, to be honest, with the Nile well sort of in evidence or whatever. China looks like China. Wow, incredible. Am I right? Yeah, RGOs have been shifted around a little bit. And yeah, formable nations. For example, I wonder if I know the tags for these fucking countries. There you go, Sokoto. I believe this is good. Yeah, you can become Titular Empire. Ah, shit. Can you, like, do the decisions? I believe this is only a command in... Yeah, no, it's only a command in Hearts of Iron. Anyway, you can do a bunch of stuff as Sokoto in, like, these weird northern or sort of northwest African kingdoms. You can become basically the Tukular Empire, and basically you become this theocratic empire. You're like, jihad, how epic. And then if you form the Tukular Empire, you can then form an even like another tag, which is the Fulani Caliphate, which I suppose would be like, I don't know, uniting a lot of this stuff under the glorious Islam or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. So that's a tag that you can do. You can play it around in that region and have fun. Although it's kind of sad because I love, like, you always have these epic mods that add content to here, and you can, like, form tags as Sokoto. And it's kind of sad because I love the flag and the look of Sokoto with, like, just, the full green and, the name Sokoto Caliphate, and, your map is green. I love it. I don't know, maybe I'm just too much of a, like, I don't know, Gaddafi fan or whatever, but yeah. Carlism. Yeah, there's also Denmark and Norway, of course. Let's check that out. Hello, I am in Denmark. How are you doing today? Damn, what the fuck? Christian whatever is redemption to the Norwegian people. Selling Danish India, of course. And eventually you can reform the Kalmar Union. So at the beginning, I believe... Ooh. I'm believing it's... Yeah, at the beginning it's Sweden, Norway. But yeah, you can do Denmark, Norway. There's a bunch of events in Scandinavia that can lead up to a big Scandinavian war, which of course means that later down the line, either Sweden or Denmark is going to gob up Norway, and then if they puppet or sphere, is it only? Yeah, Denmark's sphere of influence. Oh, even if it's got a relation of 100 or greater. Damn. So you can do it, like, very peacefully, actually. Really? But it's not puppet. You cannot do it if you're puppeting. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, to be honest. You can then, in the end, reform the Kalmar Union and reform Scandinavia, which is, of course, what everyone always does. Because, yes. Now, another country that they've added is Suvarnabhumi. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the fuck is that? And, wait, really? It's not VIE? Really, what the fuck? What is the tag name for Vietnam? That's a bit of a problem, innit? I don't know the tag for Vietnam. Vin? Indore, not Indochina. Really? I don't know the tag for Vietnam. VET? The fuck, man? VIT? No, I've already tried that. Vin? That's Vinland, probably. If that is even in the game. It would make sense. It would make sense for it to be VIE. It's not Die for Die Viet. Nam. What the fuck, man? Oh my god. Let's see if I can get it from like a tags list or something. Common countries. Vietnam. The fuck? Viet. Die Viet. Die. It's the AI. What the fuck? It must be the AI. Come on. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. It's gonna take a little bit to fix. It should be the AI. It really, really should be. What the fuck, dude? There also don't appear to be many events when it comes to... Okay, decisions. Let's try to see if decisions. Unciv flavor. Wait, flavor mod Ching? Okay. That might be actually the... Now, this just says... I'm actually so angry. Why is it so hard to find this fucking tag? Indochina formed. DAI, KAR, CAM, Siam, Burma, Pat, KCH? Yeah, I don't know. The tag really should be DAI. I'm fucking not sure why the stupid fucking country of Vietnam is not tagged DAI. It really should be tagged DAI. How fucking dare you? This is because I don't know by heart all the stupid fucking Victoria 2 commands. Anyway, let's actually just go with Siam. Fuck you. Fuck you, Vietnam. I wanted to do you, but... Why is it not DAI? This is a really big issue, actually, because if you want to play as that, like, you'd need to actually fucking find out which tag is it, and then replace all of the events, because all the events are using the DAI tag. So I'm not sure who the fuck thought it was a great idea to change the Vietnam tag. Well, actually, there is a Dynam. Of fucking course. There's a Dynam, which is exactly the same as Vietnam. Then what is that tag? HQJ, maybe? WIA? What the fuck is this? No, HQJ is the Black Flag Army. Maybe WIA? I don't fucking know. The country does not exist. Whatever the fuck that Vietnam tag is, all the countries that are here can form a big ol' Indochina thing. Let's see, do I see it? Yeah, there we go, Unite Indochina. And the country you get is Suvarnabhumi. Not sure why. And that adds Thai, Burmese, Khmer, Vietnamese, Lao, Karen, Kachin, and Shan as accepted cultures. That appears to be incredibly overpowered. That should probably be nerfed, and some of those accepted cultures should be locked behind, you know, things. So yeah, I'm guessing the easiest country to do this with would be Siam, because you start off with only 1 million pops. What the fuck? I thought you started with more pops. Okay, then it's actually probably Vietnam, because but Vietnam does get the French trolling about. Whatever, I don't fucking know. Anyway, there's an Indonesia country thing. Okay. Which is, I don't know, very, very big. Like, honestly, if I was the developers, I would, like, split it into 2 big ol' Indochina tags, which would still be, like, very big, which would be, like, Siam plus Burma and Vietnam plus Laos plus Cambodia. I don't know, maybe that's just, like, inserting a bit too much modern, like, yeah, a bit too much modern, I don't know, historical knowledge and hindsight into it. I don't know, whatever. Portugal, Brazil, and Iberia, and South America, as you'd expect. Portugal, Brazil, I'm gonna show you Portugal, Brazil later. Iberia, I'm gonna show you Iberia later. Basically, Portugal, if you puppet or sphere Brazil, and you're a great power, and you have invented nationalism and imperialism. Important, invent nationalism and imperialism, otherwise you cannot do this. You can form the United Kingdom, or Reino Unido. So yeah, the United Kingdom of Brazil and Portugal. Yeah, Iberia, if you're either Portugal or Spain, or the United Kingdom. Or, I believe also, if you do some weird shit with Spain, and you have all the Iberian Peninsula either in your sphere or in your puppet ship, you can form the Iberian Union. And then South America, in other words, if you're one of the South American countries and you have puppeted all the other ones, you can do the thing. Actually, let's see if I can, let's see if we can do it with Brazil. Brunswick? What? BRA is not Brazil. It's Brunswick? Oh, thank God it's BRZ. Honestly, I can't stand unintuitive tags in Victoria 2, to be honest. It's just the most annoying fucking thing ever. Oh yeah, you can also do that the opposite way. Like, you can unite Portugal and Brazil as Brazil. And then I suppose do the Iberian Union, because then you're Portugal-Brazil. Portugal-Brazil can't form the... I don't know. Maybe I am... Maybe I'm trolling too much. Provincia Cisplatina. That is obviously taking over Uruguay. Negotiation with Venezuela, the Rio Branco Law, New Life and New World. Yeah, there we go. Call for South American Union. Union of South American Republics. That sounds a bit USSR. Any province is on the continent South America triggered the call for South American Union event. What are the preconditions? Prestige at least 50, have invented nationalism and imperialism, and is a great power at peace. Nice, to be honest. Seems quite simple. And then probably there's a bunch of like events and nonsense and like, you know, probably the event chain causes the Americans to invade you, maybe? I don't know. I don't fucking know. You can do it. That's all I care about currently. Which is nice, I suppose. Now, if you're Austria, at the beginning, you don't accept the Czechs, and you don't accept the Croats and the Slovaks. You don't accept the Hungarians. Now, as everybody knows, if certain things happen, you can either decide to go German route and you know, form big Germany, you can also hold on. You can also form Austria-Hungary, of course, and that gives you the accepted cultures on the Hungarians. And if you look at your population at the beginning, the Hungarians are a fairly sizable chunk, 16.4%. But maybe if you get all the Slavs together, you know, the 10% Czechs, 7.5% Ukrainians, 7% Polish, 5% Slovaks, 4% Croatians, and 2.6% Slovenes and 2.2% Serbs, perhaps those are more. So maybe you want to do the Slavs. And you add Czechs, Croatians, Slovenes, Slovaks, and Polish, not Ukrainians. That's sad. So you can do the Austro-Slavic Empire. Now, the Austro-Hungarian Empire happens if Germany has formed. Really now? Okay. Now, the Austro-Slavic Empire, you can only do it if you have own Sarajevo. Wait, you do not own Sarajevo to start? Oh, Lamau. Okay. So you need to expand a bit into the Ottomans to do that. And if Germany has formed, invented nationalism and imperialism, the Austrian Empire is not a great power. Hungary exists, which is the big sort of problem moment, because I believe you also lose the Hungarian cores, or maybe the Austro-Slavic Empire just never has cores on Hungary. I don't know. It's, I suppose, like this I wonder if there's the Danubian Federation. But yeah, basically you can do the Austro-Slavic Empire, and that's pretty epic, because Austro-Slavic Empire, bro. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Anyway, what accepted cultures do you get from that? You get Czech. Of course, that's quite a lot of people in a very, very powerful region. Croatian. That's okay. Slovene. All right. Slovak, again, a few of them in a very powerful region, Slovakia, and Polish. Oh, Polish! You just get Polish as accepted culture, so then you can, like, expand into Poland, really. Yeah, you can just, like, go up to, I don't know, take over all of Poland. And, yeah. Unfortunately, not Ukrainian, so you cannot do, like, a whole blobbing into the Russian Empire or something. I don't know. Yeah, it seems like it's pretty decent, to be honest, although... Is Bosniak a culture? Bosniak is a culture. Why do you not get Bosniak? Mod developers, add Bosniak to this decision, because it would make sense. You do not get Serbian, which does make sense, actually. Yeah, which... I don't know if it would be more powerful than the Austro-Hungarian Empire, in terms of just sheer, I don't know, weight. Because the Austro-Hungarian Empire, you don't need to have lost the Slavic parts. But with the Austro-Slavic Empire, you do need to have lost Hungary. And I don't know, that might be not great. And you don't get the Romanians as well, so I don't know, pretty sad, to be honest. I wonder if there's, like... There doesn't appear to be many other, like, epic Austrian decisions. Sursuomi own Karelia as Finland. I don't care. Celtic Union. Be Scotland, Ireland, or Wales, and Jingoist. Understandable. Zapadoslavia, as you'd expect. Slovakia, Czechia, or Poland own or sphere all the cores of the others. So, yeah, just unite this region somehow as Poland. Somehow as Czechia, somehow as Slovakia. I wonder if Czechoslovakia is a thing. Yeah, Czechoslovakia is a thing. The unfortunately named Pacifica, which is, I suppose if you play as California, there's a Greater California decision, which I suppose is going to give you some cores on Oregon and Washington, and maybe Baja California. And if you own all of those, you can form Pacifica, which I suppose is, again, the, like, Union of Pacific States. Poland, Lithuania, Ruthenia, which is own all of Ukraine as the PLC. Understandable. Wonder if you can look at that from Poznan. Wonder if there's a tag of Poznan. There we go. Grand Duchy of Poznan. Can I form Poland as Poznan? No. Fuck you then. Oh, Krakow! I forgot about it. Good old Krakow. Good old Krakow. Do you have... You've got Zapadoslavia. You've got the Commonwealth Reborn. Which is just... It's just the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Anyway, you can add Ruthenia to the Commonwealth and be a big old Commonwealth. As you'd expect. Abbasids own Baghdad as Wadai. What the fuck is a Wadai? Wadai? I actually do not know where Wadai is. But yeah, you can make the fucking Abbasids, of course. Now, I believe there's also the, like, fantasy Assyrian Empire. So yeah, why not? Bitless. Yeah, I have no fucking clue where Wadai is supposed to be. But apparently, as it, you can form the fucking Abbasids if you take over Baghdad. Why not? Reform the Abbasids or something. Poland, Hungary. Own all Polish cores as Hungary. There's also Bulgaria, Romania, which is, yeah, just have all of this. Frankia. Own Frankfurt as Aachen. Somehow. Wait, Aachen is not even released at the start. Okay. I guess you can LARP as Charlemagne. And now we get to the, like, random flavor that I've already talked about with the Ottomans, where you can, like, reclaim all of North Africa. Now, the Ottomans also have, like, how many revolts? 25 small independent and irredentist revolts in the Balkans. So just in the Balkans, you have 25 revolts. Yeah, you can retake Algeria, Crimea, the Caucasus, Serbia, Greece, and Transylvania. Precious goods RGO in Istanbul to sort of compensate for all the fucking revolts that you get. So that's really strong. You've got your Scandinavia bullshit, of course. Of bloody course. And then there's the USA-Mexico rework, which is pretty epic. Let's actually go ahead and be Mexico. Be Mexico, be a Sigma male. Now, Mexico is a true Sigma male, but not as much of a Sigma male as the United States in this mod. Because, now, the event is 12357 12357 which should, yeah, so if you know, as you know, there is the Mexican-American War, which is like the big event of the early game between Mexico and the US. Now, if you win as Mexico, Pog, which I suppose would be if, like, you, like, take Washington, D.C., maybe? Or maybe if, like, you do enough, if you get enough war score or something, or maybe the United States goes over a certain war exhaustion, it triggers this event, which is the peace with the USA. So you can not take anything. You can take the Oregon Territory, which I suppose would be taken by the time the war started. All land west of the Mississippi is Mexican. Now, the Mississippi is the big old river over here, or all land west of the Mississippi in Florida are Mexican. So you can just do this as Mexico. Like, yeah, Mexico moment. And then you can, like, rename everything, you know. Like, Fort Leavenworth renamed to Previo. Fort Man renamed to Aztlan. Yeah. Fuente Liberacion and all that. You can rename all the places, obviously. Now, what's really epic is you can rename Florida, which is based. Like, fuck Florida, honestly. So, yeah, that's really, really great. However, You might be asking yourself, how can the Americans be even more Sigma male than this? What do you mean the USA does not exist? Of course the USA. USA? The fuck, dude? Oh. Bro, how is there not the USA? Oh, well, pretty simple to fix, to be honest. Pretty simple to fixo. Let's go back to the main menu and be America. Now, I could be pausing the recording for this, but I don't want to because I'm lazy, so fuck you. Production value, everyone. Once we're in, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about with the US being even more of a Sigma male. No, not tag. The event for the USA is 123560. This is if the Americans win. Peace with Mexico, so you got your Treaty with Guadalupe Hidalgo or whatever. Yeah, you can just do that. You can just do all of Mexico. You can just fucking do this. Now it's for the infamy. So that's obviously pretty yikes. And later down the line, of course, this complicates the Civil War quite a bit. You can just like... You can kind of game it by not extending slavery. Actually, I forgot. I forgot what happens in the Civil War if you do not extend slavery to Mexico. Or I suppose I forgot what happens if you do, because definitely if you don't, Mexico revolts along with the CSA. So like there's a Mexico that rises up and you need to take it over again, obviously, once the Civil War happens. But maybe if you extend slavery, Mexico becomes part of the CSA? Question mark? Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so. It would make sense for Mexico to revolt anyway. But since it's a slave state, maybe the CSA does get some cores through the events on Mexico parts. So I suppose you can do Golden Circle with this bullshit. I don't know. Plays New Africa. Yeah, you can just do that. You can just fucking do that. Like, yeah. Epic. Wait. Okay, there's probably some weird shit going on with the USA in this mod. Because the USA will receive events to change the flag based on its in-game... Oh, it's because it's a dynamic nation or whatever. Right. That's why the USA tag didn't work. Yeah, there's another sub-mod, which is Dynamic Nations, which is basically all about, like, changing the flavor and the flags based on what is going on. To be honest, having seen the no government thing, it appears like it's probably a good idea to not use it at this, or at least right now, because it's probably, you know, yeah, it's probably not done. Anyway, I wonder if there's, like, the Ostend Manifesto or whatever. Yeah, there is the Ostend Manifesto. So you can just take over Cuba as well after all of this. So yeah, you can just do a massive old golden circle as the United States. Yeah, and I believe there's also some way you can claim Canada as the US in the mod, but I don't fucking remember. So yeah, and another like downside if you do this, another way to punish you is once the Civil War starts, the British, if you have annexed all of Mexico, will get an event that tells them, hey, go in and kill America because they're dicks, basically. Like, you're much more threatening to the rest of the world, so the British side essentially with the CSA, and they invade you with basically like a way to dismantle you completely. So yeah, it's kind of a high risk, high reward, ultra sigma male play. But you take all of Mexico. You just got all of Mexico. That's pretty good. You know? Why not take all of Mexico? Although to be fair, it's early game Mexico, so it doesn't have that many pops. Which is quite unfortunate. But hey, it's still all of Mexico. I wonder if you get more immigration if you have more territory. No idea. Another country that's got a lot of stuff is Haiti. Now, Haiti's actually pretty epic. Fuck you, France. It's probably a good idea to avoid doing this, and then they declare war on you. Like, what the fuck are they gonna do? And probably they've got like a pay debts. Yeah, which is probably... That's probably less money. That's actually probably less money than, like, the 500k. Like, how much are you going to be paying to France? Damn, you've got precious goods? Holy shit. Yeah, it's like nothing. Let's just do that and just avoid all of the Haitian debt. Anyway. Yeah, Haiti, like, the original mod developers from Haiti, so he made Haiti really overpowered for some reason. But that's pretty base because I love Haiti. Yeah, it's really sad that Haiti like doesn't get such an epic treatment in Victoria 2 because it was like really one of the most interesting nations of this period. Anyway, you accept the Polish, of course. In case you don't know this is because when France invaded Haiti back during the Haitian Revolution, they brought along with them like a troop of the Polish Legion because France, when it took over like all of Europe, a bunch of Polish exiles basically joined up with France in the hopes that Poland would be restored, right? So the France had like this like a lot of Polish soldiers in its army comparatively, which is called the Polish Legion. And yeah, there's even like a 1% Polish people in why are there Vietnamese in Paris at the start? Why are there Croatians and nobody fucking knows? Anyway, there's some Polish in Paris to represent that. And there's even like a tiny amount of Polish people in Haiti because, again, when they invaded Haiti, they brought along some not just French soldiers and not just like Caribbean soldiers or colonial soldiers. They also brought along some Polish people. And these Polish guys at some point were like, fuck this. And they switched sides to the Haitians. And so Haiti actually loves Poland and calls the Polish people the white Negroes of Europe because they're like also oppressed. So there's a weird like Haitian Polish solidarity connection, and so Poland loves, or Haitians love Poland, so they accept Polish. And there's also the mulatto culture and the Afro-Francais culture. Now, there's a bunch of these Afro-something cultures, and Haiti, if they, you know, do things right down the line, they can basically get those cultures as accepted cultures, if I recall correctly. Where's the Haiti part? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, decision to accept all African expat cultures, so Afro-American, Afro-Latino, and Afro-French. Yes, Afro-American. Like, yeah, that's quite powerful, isn't it? And it's also really powerful because you can enforce claims on the Louisiana territory, which is a weird thing because when Toussaint Louverture, who was the, I believe, first emperor of Haiti, basically the Haitian Napoleon, to ultra simplify things, when he won his war with France, he negotiated and agreed, or actually that was before the war with France, because there's a very complex series of events there. Basically, they negotiated between France and Haiti, where Haiti would like basically take over some of France's like Caribbean and like American territories, and that was before the Louisiana Purchase. But then the Louisiana Purchase happened, and so Haiti never got to own Louisiana, which is back in the day used to be all of this. So yeah, so you can, if you're insane and somehow manage to do that, you can take all of that shit and be the enemy of the USA for the entire game. You have a really overpowered bonus, of course, and You can also claim Guadeloupe and Martinique. So yeah, you can troll around France a little bit. These are like the French Caribbean territories. And yeah, you can take those over because, of course, there's quite a lot of Afro-Francais slaves over there. And I believe there's also like a decision to like foment the slave rebellion in the USA. Let me see if I can see it. Colonizing Gabon. Holy shit. Why not? Yeah, do a bit of a Liberia moment. Yeah, decision to fund revolts in Quebec and the American South. Epic. Epic. Amazing. I love it. Yeah, like Haiti leading the slave rebellion and forming like a sort of greater American African Republic is great. Unfortunately, I don't think they can form like actual new Africa, but I mean, that would be too much like insanity, right? I don't believe Byzantium is in this mod. Is it in this mod? I don't know. Would be hilarious if Byzantium was in it and like you played multiplayer and someone did like Byzantium and someone else did like Portugal, Brazil, and someone else did the Haiti, the insane Haiti. I don't know. That would be hilarious. And there's a bunch of South American shit, as I've already said. Like basically all the countries have a bunch of like events for weird random border wars. Insane 17 civil wars for each country because that's South America in this period. There's a weird Russo-French crisis over Djibouti because, of course, yeah, Russia can do a bunch of like Sigma male shit to the Chinese. Reworked Russian Civil War and Provisional Government. Oh, I would love to look at that one. The fuck? Burn down the Palace of Westminster, the Eiffel Tower, and the White House, of course. More Egyptian stuff. Many greater X decisions to add something to otherwise flavorless countries. I wonder which ones those would be. I wonder if Korea has anything. Korea does have, I believe, like some events for like the French I just said like 7 times. Greater Korea? No fucking way. They can like take the Southern Manchuria. Anyway, yeah, there's a bunch of events for Korea to basically have all the weird conflicts that were going on in there in the late 1800s between France, the United States, Korean rebels, the Korean court, and all that. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, outside form Italy as France or Austria. There's also a bunch of French content. Where basically France can just be like, yeah, you can just be like super France basically. Where is it? Like, yeah, you can see that you've got like create Yugoslavia, create Poland, Lithuania. So I don't know, France. If you're doing France and you France really hard on the small Frances, in other words, other European kingdoms, which are just France, you can do things. And the left bank of the Rhine, of course. And even what is really epic is the French Crusade, which is declare war on the Ottoman Empire, and for some reason you release the Latin Empire and the Kingdom of Jerusalem and Cilicia. So basically, France can just kind of say fuck you to the Ottomans, which it's interesting because, of course, like the Crusaders used to be French, and well, mostly, and sort of you're claiming that legacy, which is a weirdly similar reason to why in real life the French ended up colonizing Lebanon and Syria, because they thought that they had sort of a historical link to the Levant region because of the Crusader kingdoms, which were Francophone? Yeah, I don't know. And there's also the organized Italy under strict French jurisdiction, which I suppose is like forming some Italian confederation. Some like smaller Italian confederation if you have, like, you know, everything down here sphered, and you can do the same thing as Austria, as you'd expect. So that's the little Austro-French Cold War over Italy. If Sardinia-Piedmont, you know, doesn't... Yeah, if Sardinia-Piedmont isn't successful, or if the two Sicilies... Can you actually do the two Sicilies into Italy in this mod? Yeah, there we go. Italian call to union. Okay. That makes sense. Can you do the Pope? Can you do the Pope, Italy? Come on. Oh yeah, you can do Avanti Italia. Okay. Although what would be really epic would be the Roman Republic, but whatever. Well, the Roman Republic, or like the fucking Kingdom of God or whatever. The Italian Confederation would be the, like, historical Pope Italian unification. Anyway, yeah, no Italian Federation. Unfortunate. Do I have anything else? No. Anyway, there's one more thing I need to show you, which is my game, my short game, to be honest, so far. I wonder if, because I played this game before the update release, so I wonder if I continued it, if it would be broken or not. Probably, because of all the Iran things. In fact, I'm not even sure it's gonna load. It's not gonna load. Anyway, that's the end of the video because it's already gone on for a shitload of time. So I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.